people come into your office, if they're meeting you in the office, have all that. It's pretty easy to do and pretty easy to keep stocked. And then we also make our office kid friendly. So we have still do have coloring books, some little puzzles and stuff like that. So if people have kids and they come to the office and they're waiting for a few minutes to come back and talk, they feel like they're welcome. It's not some stuffy place that we need to be really quiet, like the library or a doctor's office, where they feel uncomfortable. You want to make it just as friendly as you can. And then Clint, you want to go over the All About You form and how that is important.
Again, when people, we just had a conversation about this since clients aren't coming in, getting this switched over so we can send it out like a Survey Monkey or something, where we can still start getting clients to fill this out again. But the All About You form is just, it allows you to get some info that you wouldn't naturally get otherwise. So for us on it, it might have what your date of birth is, what your children's names are and their dates of birth, what name you prefer to go by. Do you like coffee or not? Are you like coffee or tea? Are you a Coke or Diet Coke? Like, what's your favorite soft drink, favorite candy, favorite movie, favorite vacation spot? What it allows us to do, hobbies. It allows us to do a couple of things. One, it gives us a really easy way to gift them. Another thing it does, it helped me build rapport, because I would get the All About You before I met with a client, and I may see that they love to bass fish, right? So when they come back and we start talking, I may glance at it and go, so I see you like bass fishing. Where do you like to fish? Man, I live right off Old Hickory right now. And okay, cool. We can talk for 3 or 4 minutes about fishing. And that's not just normally going to come up. I'm not going to say, hey, Mitch, you like to fish? No? Okay, well, it just gives me something to talk about. Maybe they love the Titans, and I can say, oh, man, did you catch that game on Monday night? I can't stay up to midnight to watch football, but, I heard it was a great game, whatever, right? But it's kind of a cheat sheet of how to get to know them more quickly. The other thing that it does, I think as a realtor, because we may not see the client again for 6 weeks or 2 months, 5 months until they find a home. But you guys if you're going to be showing them homes, it gives you information so that next time you see them, you can have their favorite drink in the car when they get there. You can have snacks for their kids. You can call them on their birthday or their kid's birthday. You can send them something on their kid's birthday because you know all this information that you wouldn't have gotten otherwise, right? Like as a realtor, you're probably not in the car with your client going, so Mitch, tell me when's your birthday? Like, oh, it's in December? Like, but that's a weird question. But when you have it, right? So then you can just put it in the database and send him something on his birthday, regardless if he's bought a home yet or not. So it gives you information that you can use to then turn around and continue to build a raving fan and build a relationship. At the bottom of our All About You's got some information like, do you have an insurance person? Do you have a financial person or a CPA? It gives us an opportunity to refer other business professionals that we network with, which is kind of a little stuffier side of it. But I love the fun part, which is favorite color, favorite book, favorite movie, because it just tells us, man, this person loves Diet Coke and Skittles.
And
so the
we
next
shared
time
that. We shared that with all you guys.
I'm going to have that for them.
Yeah. Did you check with that, Clint? Did all you guys get the All About You form?
I don't know if they got it.
You should all have it. It's in a Word document. It's got our stuff on it. So plug in your stuff if you want to. That's why we want to share this stuff with you guys. Put your logo on it.
Clint, you also kind of glossed over this the business referral part of that, and I think that's a really strong part. If they have a great financial planner or they have got a great CPA, somebody like that, or they don't have one and they're interested in maybe a referral for one, you have an opportunity to refer somebody in your network to them, and that goes along the same lines of creating a raving fan. Like, you're connecting them with somebody that is great as well. And I feel like that's just another add to the whole piece. It's not as fun, but I think it's really important as well.
Absolutely. So, and then Mitch already touched on the next one. So the All About You is huge. If you're not using that, that's an easy one to start using. And actually, it's not easy. It's simple, right? Sometimes things that are simple aren't easy to actually do. But getting that filled out, keeping it in their file, 5 years from now, you can remember, oh, they do like coffee, or their favorite chocolate is M&Ms or whatever. You'll always have that information for your clients. The next one is what Mitch talked about already. We send out the, for the ones that are pre-approved. So everybody that we talk to gets at least a, hey, thanks so much for taking the time to talk to us, regardless if they can't buy a house or they can. And then if they can buy the house, that's when they get the popcorn. So again, hey, looking forward to working with you. Glad that you popped by the office, or hope your home searches pop, whatever. It's a, what do they call it? It's probably $4, $3. Probably $5 to mail the whole thing, because it's a big thing. So it costs like
And
$1 or $2 to mail it.
key to any of this is a system, right? So that you can do it repeatedly. So like if you're going to say that's what you're going to do, right? Your thing is going to be send popcorn on Friday at 2:00 every single Friday. You go through and you send popcorn to your list of people from last week on Friday through this morning on Friday, and they all get popcorn, and you do it on the same day of the week. You're not going to do it every single day, right? And then if you wait and say, I'm going to do it for the whole month, well, now you've got too many to do, or you're sending somebody popcorn that you talked to literally 29 days ago. Set a time for 30 minutes on Friday. Maybe you've got one this week, and maybe next week you've got 4. But on Friday at 2, or whatever, your Monday at 8 a.m., this first thing I do is I'm going to implement this system, put it in your calendar, and do it the same time every single week, and you'll actually do it. The last one is the wish list for buyers, which I don't think we have to go too detail into this. Your realtors, knowing what the buyer wants allows you to take great care of them, right? How many bedrooms, bathrooms, what location, all of that stuff.
And we did send that over to you guys if you want an example. It just came over separately because it's doing it this way. We normally have it in a package for you when you do it face-to-face for this lunch and learn, but that just came over. And like Clint said, it tells you, it weeds out, it makes your job so much easier, right? Have you ever showed somebody a house that's like doesn't fit their needs, or maybe you've got 4 of them lined up? Like, hey, we're going to go look at these 4 houses. You look at the first one, they're like, dude, I don't want a 3-bedroom. And all the next 4 that you have lined up, are now you've wasted your time, your day, back to the drawing board. So listening, you should be able to narrow down the best 4 or 5 houses in the area, and let's go look at them, and let's write an offer on the best one. And that makes your job so much easier.
And this is not on here, but you need a day of the week where you're calling people that are pre-approved. And just check in with them to see, and it may be under the during. I kind of consider the during under contract. For your buyers on Wednesday or Thursday, you need to be making calls to schedule your appointments for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, right? Because who loves that call on Saturday morning at 9 a.m. that says, hey, I want to go see this house at 11? Does everybody love that? Right? Nobody loves it, right? Well, if you make those calls on Thursday and say, hey, Brian, wanted to schedule some showings with you this weekend. I've got Sunday from 2 to 4 open. Do you guys want to see some property? No, we're good this weekend. The chance of that person then calling you the next day and wanting to see something immediately, it goes down, right? So having it in your calendar that for an hour a week, you're going to call people that are currently pre-approved. And what happens is if that person says, no, I'm good. There's nothing that we've seen. There's nothing you've sent us that falls in our category. Awesome. Is there anything you need? Do we need to change anything in your parameters? No. I feel heard. I feel cared about. You're reaching out to me. Okay, great. Who has ever had lost a buyer because they just didn't reach out to them for 6, 7, 8 weeks, and the client was thinking, well, the realtor will call me. They should call me. And the client's thinking, or you're thinking, well, if the client needs me, they'll call me. And what happens is the distance grows. Every day, every week that goes by that you're not talking, the likelihood of them going to someone else grows, right? Having it where you're calling them on a weekly basis just to check in means fewer people will slip through the cracks or go somewhere else.
It also gives you the opportunity to ask for more business too.
And that gives you an opportunity to.
Are we doing a good job? Do you need to change anything? Hey, by the way, I'm referral based. Do you happen to have any friends or family coworkers that are looking to buy right now?
Yeah.
Or so.
Which is absolutely.
So that kind of ends up the before. So look at what we just kind of went over. We went over, every client gets a thank you, a welcome board if you're not using it, an all about you, making your office kid friendly, pre-approved clients getting popcorn, or maybe every client that gets pre-approved or thinking about listing. Which one of those, if you're not using now, which one are you going to start using? Like at least circle one, star one, and say, you know what, I need to do that, or I could do that. And guys, before we move on, does any of you have something really cool that y'all do at this point that wows your clients? And it doesn't have to be a big thing; it could be a little thing that you guys do that's a good idea. Because I love hearing ideas from people who are doing it every day.
I was going to share real quick. So I get my popcorn through Magnolia in L&L Market, the new L&L Market in West Nashville. I think Chris, Clint, you get yours in like I can't remember
somewhere.
East Nashville. I can't remember the name, but that was like the hardest part for me to do this. I went like a year and a half, 2 years without like knowing I need to do this. I want to do this. Finally, I just said, I'm going to do this. I talked to, I told my wife about it. She called, made a call. I sent her my logo. Boom. Within like a week, we had popcorn. And it was like, I waited all this time and then we had it that quickly. So it's just getting the system down, and then we have somebody that mails it out for us. And once you get it down, like Clint said, it's like.
And also learn from our mistakes, guys. We did used to, we tried one time to send chocolate, and June, July, August, chocolate doesn't work in the mail. So we did that for a few weeks, and we got some feedback that, hey, the chocolate was all melted. So we did peanut brittle. You can do any kind of hard candy, popcorn, stuff like that. So cool. So did anybody else have anything else to share during that time?
I would share that I use a service called AM Cards. So you can go they have cards that are pre-made on the exterior, but you can type in your message and they mail it for you.
That's
so
nice.
Although it's not handwritten, it's still, the clients know that it's custom because from the words, you're able to brand it, like put your logo and all that good stuff on the back. And then they also have a few gifts, not a lot, that you can send. So they have brownies,
nice,
books, and gift cards. I wish they did have popcorn, but I pay for a monthly service, $39 a month, and you get to send so many cards a month with that subscription. So it just really depends on what's best for you.
A client sent me one after closing, and they wrote 4 paragraphs about the process and how happy, and like it's up on my credenza, is what that's called, I think, because I thought, man, like she went out of her way to send me a picture of her kids in front of the sold sign at the house she just bought, her first house, and wrote a lot of words about how thankful she is for our team in the process. And I thought, man, that's like, I put it up because I like seeing it. And it was just last week or something, but I think that's the same system. And I would typically say if it was a half a sentence that said, thanks for all you did, she wrote enough that I thought, man, this is really personal. This isn't a canned, this goes out to every single person with no thought, but she really put thought into what she wrote us. So I kept it. It meant something to me.
And I think that also goes back to the all about you form. Like if you're sending them out this letter and and I mean, obviously a handwritten letter is going to be the best, but if you have it typed, if you're putting something that's personal in there that you've learned about them, that you've listened, I think that's going to be way more, instead of some generic, message like looking forward to working with you through this process. Like you actually point out some things that they've mentioned or that's on the all about you form. I think it goes a lot further.
Right. So 2 things. Number one, I definitely always find something to write so they know that it's personalized. But even going further, if I notice on social media that they post something monumental happening in their lives, I'll take that picture,
that's cool,
download it, put it on that card.
That's cool.
And then send it to them.
What's the name?
Graduated.
What's the name of the card company?
I'll type it in the chat. AM Cards.
Nice.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Those cards, did they, as part of that service, did they mail those for you also? Like you put the address in and they go ahead and ship them out to that person?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's huge. Because that's where we get bogged down, guys. Like Todd said, I send out calendars too for Christmas. I've done that, man. I started doing that in 05, 06 probably.
I did too.
Yeah. So, and man, I used to do them all by myself, and dude, it was a beast of a task. Now my team helps me with that, but all the other things that we do now, the calendars, because we do it at Christmas and we do it, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. But you can get other things to leverage. Like we send out a mailer every month. We either do either a letter of the heart, which is a letter about us. Clint does a really good one every month, or we do an evidence of success. Hey, this is how we help somebody. Right? You pay for the service. It takes you 30, 45 minutes to write your thoughts, get it down. Once you have it in place, you click a button, they do it all for you. So you have to, as you grow your business and get busier, learn how to leverage that kind of stuff, because Todd does that once a year. Todd, what if you had to do that every month, a different you wouldn't do it?
I've got leverage doing things. I'm part of an expansion out of Chattanooga through Portland, Oregon, and they do a lot of that, all that back end sort of thing.
Nice.
Creating this and sending out postcards. One of the other things that I started doing, and it is kind of cumbersome, but it really seals up you in this relationship. And so many people are moving here from Timbuktu, if you initially sit down with them, I have a folder from Staples that, holds business cards. And I have a front and a back of doctors, lawyers, landscaping people, financial people, my card, they're going to have to know dentist, all those sort of things. It's just a front and back full of lands. The biggest is handyman and a contractor, and they want somebody to come do their yard, that sort of thing. But it's full front and back. And I put it in a folder, have a big sticker on the front, and they either get that at closing or they get that initial consultation, because it really shows the area, and all these people, and I do know most of them.
Yeah.
But you just go to your dentist and say, hey, I need 50 cards, and it's kind of hard to keep up with all those. But I mean, once you make them, you just grab one and hand it out as you go.
Yeah. I think that's a great idea. Again, another little touch. People are going to need this. Before you ask me, here you go. You're going to need a contractor to paint. You're going to need, you can have the list. And actually, we kind of glazed over this earlier, but all the list of the local utilities. Like, hey, if you want Comcast, here's the number. If you want your local water, this is the number to call, because, it's different from where you came from. And just give them that list of people to call. And man, it makes their life a lot easier versus Googling everything and doing that. Like, oh man, my realtor just had this little touch that saved me 30 minutes of work on my own. Awesome. Just a little touch.
I'm sure there's services out there online that you could get all this together digitally, send it to, and they could print out these books, as well, like, or these things where then you just have them grab and go.
Yep. Yeah. So guys, we're going to move on to the next step, which is like during the process. Okay. So you've talked to them, they want to get pre-approved or they are pre-approved. So for the realtor, you got to have a consultation with them. This could be the before or the during. We have it as during, but the home selling and buying process, this is where you really, really go through all those details. We have an example. If you've ever been to any of our buyer consultations, we take about 20, sometimes 30 minutes just to go through the process and talk about underwriting and the needs list and the do's and don'ts. Hey, don't go open new credit. Don't quit your job. Don't change your job. Don't put a big, large amount of cash in the bank that we don't know where it came from. We take the time to explain and give them value, right? For you guys, it's like, hey, we're going to go through this whole process and we're going to set expectations. So when your lender asks you for something, you need to get it back to them the same day. Like, go ahead and set that expectation for your lender, whether it's us or not. If Quicken Loans is asking you for something, don't wait, because they're going to use that as an excuse to close late if you don't get it to them the same day. Hey, we're going to talk about the home inspection in a minute. How important is it to set expectations with that, right? So when you go through that, you set all the expectations, get everybody on the same page, and really set the tone for what they can expect. What I'm going to do for you. Part of it is, hey, you're going to get Tuesday updates from my team. Every Tuesday, we're going to update you on what's going on in your loan so that you know what's going on, right? So setting those expectations. So does everybody have that presentation that they go through to set those expectations with every buyer and every listing? Now, that presentation may just be in your head. I would prefer, and I've learned it's better to get it in some type of written form so that you make sure you hit all the bullet points. And then also that they have something to take with them that's tangible. They have a piece of paper, they have maybe a package or we have a folder with several pieces of paper that talk about the process, and they can go back and review their notes on their
That's
own.
what I put in all of my folders. I've got a sheet that says, this is what you can expect from me. And it's a bullet point list. And then I have another sheet that says what I expect from you.
Yeah.
And bullet point list. And so that goes into all of my client folders or prospect folders.
Yeah. And then like a net sheet too, right? You know, I've talked to clients who are listing their home. They've already listed their house. I'm like, oh, great. What, you know, what are you guys going to walk away with? What's your net going to be? I don't know. Okay, well, and then I have to go back and I have to be really careful because I never want to overstep bounds with realtors, right? So I'm like, okay, you know, let's talk about this is what you're listing it for. It's, you know, you're listing it for 400. You owe this. Well, hey, you know, you got realtor commissions. I'm going to assume 6%. I'm going to assume some closing costs. We have to pay some closing costs for the other side. You know, sometimes you can take 10% off that. They're listing it for 400. What I usually do is I take 10% off and say you're probably going to net somewhere around 360. Could be a little higher. Also could be a little lower. Depends on if you negotiate and stuff like that. So then I'm guessing, right? And say, okay, you're going to net 360 and this is what you owe. So then we can come up with a roundabout. But as a realtor, if you're listing a house, do a net sheet for them. It really helps them to understand, because people think, oh man, I'm listing my house for 400. Awesome, I sold my house for 400. You're not putting that in your pocket. There's closing costs, there's commissions, there's all kind of stuff. So net sheet should be part of that
Yeah.
for listings.
I have all that on an Excel spreadsheet. You plug in the taxes and what they're going to get out of this offer and what they offer, what they could be and all that. Because I mean, I even have them sign it because I've gone to closing and I said, well, I didn't agree to that.
Right.
And you pull out the net sheet and you said, well, yeah, you did.
Right. You actually signed it.
Yeah,
So,
you actually signed that. So anyway, it's just to kind of cover your whatever with the closing,
and
because that
we
happens.
do the exact same thing, because we have a, you know, basically like it's the old good faith estimate. They call it now just a loan estimate, right? But now when I go over loan estimate or a good faith estimate with a client, I email it to them, and I have a record of it on 9/16 at 11:06. I sent you this email. It's to you, and it says loan breakdown. It has all the notes on it. Your cash to close is circled. Your payment is circled. I always make the notes about the things that are estimated too, right? I don't know what your homeowner's insurance is yet, so I say estimated, because I don't want them to say, man, you told me my homeowner's insurance was going to be $125. It's 160. What, man, you lied. Like, I didn't lie to you. I'm just estimating what it is, right? So the things that you're out of your control, make sure you note that, and then you can go back to it in a month and say, yeah, you know, we estimated your cash to close at 33,000. You're right at 33,000. Where's the question? And then people are like, oh yeah, I remember, man, I was thinking about something different, but whatever. So make sure you have that on record. That's really smart.
Absolutely. Well, I just dealt with the buyer who thought that the homeowner's insurance the mortgage person took care of. But I mean, they don't know, and
right.
Somebody, especially, they don't know unless you tell them they don't know.
Yeah. And that's why you should have a great mortgage person on your team that explains it to them like we do. That we can help you. Absolutely. I got a great guy that'll review it for you, but it's up to you ultimately to pick. The next one, guys, this is huge, 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 huge. Attend the home inspection with your clients and set expectations before the home inspection. The home inspector's job is to find 1 to 2 to 18 pages worth of crap wrong with the house. That's their job. You're paying them money to find things wrong. If they come back and say, clean bill of health, there's nothing wrong with this house, you're going to be like, give me my $300 back, dude.
Yeah.
Right? So set that expectation. I have seen deals killed over home inspections that the house looked like it was brand new. But like, oh no, man, he said that roof, and they got these disclaimers that are 14 paragraphs about, it's disclaimers so that they don't get sued. Well, if you just read the disclaimer, it sounds like they should have a structural engineer look at the roof, even though the roof's brand new, right? It's just, so having that conversation ahead of time, say, guys, we're going to make sure that I'm here to protect you as your realtor. We're going to look at the home inspection. If there's a big problem, we're going to get out of the contract. But as long as the foundation's good, as long as the roof good, plumbing and electric is good, and there's going to be problems with all that, right? There's going to be small problems, but all of it can usually be fixed. And go into that. And then the client like, oh, well, I'm expecting to see 2 pages worth of stuff. And we're only going to focus on anything that's big. Because the light switch that doesn't work, I can fix. The light bulb that needs to be changed out, no problem. There's one shingle that blew off, I can fix one shingle, right? And we don't let deals get killed over that.
One thing I've been doing is writing in there that the buyer is not going to want to fix anything more than $1,500, because we're in multiple offers and you don't want to nickel and dime the seller to death. And
yeah. So if it's less than $1,500, you're not worried about it. Of course, if they find a $20,000 foundation problem, hey, we got an issue.
We're worried about that, but I'm not worried about it.
Love that. Guys,
because
everybody should write that down when you're making offers in a competitive offer situation. right in there, hey, my buyer will not want anything fixed if it's less than a $1,500 repair. Then the seller, to the seller, like, dude, that's awesome. I don't have to nitpick on stuff. If they find a major problem, we'll address that major problem, but you're not going to
Well,
mess with me about the leaky faucet and
the door that won't close.
the door.
And
Yeah.
I probably have won a couple of multiple offers because of that.
Yeah. So if you're going up against Todd in a multiple offer situation, you can't use it because that's his technique.
Yeah, that's
but
my.
Against other agents, you can use that technique and win your offers. That's awesome.
Just say $1,501.
Right.
I'll go to 1502, right?
That's right. That's right. That's really good, man. I like that, Todd.
Escalation clause for that situation.
For the repairs on the yeah.
So really good on that, but make those expectations known. One thing that we've been working on, and we were doing this more a little earlier, we haven't done it as much in the last year, but videos about the process. You know, you can shoot a video. It does not have to be a $10,000 production of a commercial. You can literally take your iPhone. You can shoot a great video on your iPhone now, and it can be about, hey, it can be about the home inspection. Shoot a video about the home inspection. Hey, you know, this is Todd over here at Keller Williams. Just want to give you a quick video to explain the home inspection. And this is what a home inspection is. This is what it means. This is what to expect, right? So you may have had that conversation a week ago, but now the actual home inspection's today, and you can have that set to go to the client as a reminder about the home inspection, about the appraisal. You know, we have some videos. We actually just shot some videos in our office that are going to be in coordination with the process of the loan. That'll be going out at different times, but it's about that. Hey, welcome to processing. This is what happens in processing. Hey, this is the appraisal. This is why we do an appraisal. This is what it means. Underwriting, those mysterious people, you know, feel like it's the Wizard of Oz behind the curtains, pulling buttons and whatever they do, right? What does the underwriter do? This mysterious person that causes problems. Well, this is what they do. Clear to close, like explaining all that and just having a little 15 to 45-second video, or maybe even a minute. That's a really cool little touch that people get to see you during that process, explain exactly what it is that's going on. So, you know, I know several agents that have that. You know, welcome to the, you know, Kendra Cook did some really good videos, and it was like, hey, welcome to the Kendra Cook team. This is what we do. This is what we're all about, right? It was about them. Then like, oh, hey, I'm about to list your house. We're having a listing appointment. So if they set a listing appointment, they would email them a video. It was Kendra talking about the listing appointment, saying, hey, make sure to have two sets of keys ready. You know, make sure you find your keys so that we can get a lockbox, right? We got to have a lockbox in the house. You also need to find your certain paperwork. And hey, I'm gonna, you know, looking forward to seeing you at our listing appointment. So they would get a video, very personal. Now, you don't have to reshoot it for every person. You shoot one that's kind of generic, and it goes to every person, if that makes sense. So those little videos can be really cool. Clint, would you like to talk about the updates real quick?
Tuesday updates. It goes back to setting expectations. So telling your clients, number one, we're going to update you every Tuesday with a status. This is listing or buyers, right? And being able to say, you can expect a call from me before lunch every Tuesday with a status of your process, right? So on a listing, that looks like, hey, we didn't have any showings this week, wanted to keep you in the loop. Hey, we had 5 showings this week, 4 of them said we were overpriced. Hey, we had, 9 showings, we've got 4 offers coming in today, whatever it is. You're updating them on the status and following that up, of course, like we always say, asking for a referral and making sure that they have the information. Small kept promises. If you tell somebody you're going to call them every Tuesday and you call them every Tuesday, you're trustworthy. They can not only trust you, they're going to trust their friends and family with you when they refer you. If you say you're going to call them every Tuesday and sometimes you call them on Wednesday and sometimes you just don't call them at all, then they can't trust you, and they know that. I'll also say this is a very big, for me, it's a time management technique. I can't tell you how many times I've had somebody say, yeah, I was going to call you yesterday, but I knew you always call me on Tuesday, so I didn't. Because what's easier, me calling a client or a realtor and then picking up the phone, or them calling me when I'm in an appointment, and then I call them back when I'm out of the appointment, and I get their voicemail, and then they call me back, and I'm on the other line with somebody, so they stay on hold, and then like that back and forth is never fun, right? And that happens a lot, where an interruption takes longer than when you can proactively just say, yeah, I'm going to call you every Tuesday with a status. Right. So it gives you the opportunity to not only keep the promise, but also then say, Is there anything else I can help you out with? No. Hey, let me ask. My goal is to be a 10 on service. How are we doing? Is my team taking great care of you? On a scale of 1 to 10, where would we be? If they say 9 or 10, it gives you the right to ask for a referral. If they say it's a 5, then you have to apologize and figure out how to get it to a 9 or a 10. That also shows people you care. Because if you're asking, is there anything else I can do for you? And they say no, and you say, are you absolutely sure? They're like, no, no, you can't. There's nothing you can do. They're thinking, wow, they really want to help me out. Donna really wants to take great care of me because she's asked me twice if there's anything else I can do to help her out. Let's see. Yeah, for me, we started doing Tuesday updates a long, long time ago. It's really, really helped us build our business because communication is the #1 complaint people have about lenders and realtors. Right? So if you're not sure on that, that's the #1 complaint people have about realtors as well, is lack of communication. So the last thing I believe we've got on here is the honor call or the buyer's remorse call. So when you're leaving a listing or when you've had a buyer who just maybe made an offer, maybe they just went under contract, the honor call or the remorse call is you're leaving their driveway on a listing appointment that they just signed. Everybody has buyer's remorse. Has anybody ever bought a car and you're super excited, you're driving it off the lot and you think, did we just make a mistake? Should we really have bought a brand new car? Should we have gotten used? Like this was a bad idea, right? That phone call, what it does is eases their mind that you're leaving their driveway. You pick up the phone and call them and say, hey, I know I'm just leaving your house. I didn't leave anything. I just wanted to say thank you for choosing me. I'm honored to be able to sell your house. We are going to take great care of you through this process and get your home sold quickly and for the most money. And that person goes, okay, we made the best decision, right? Does that make sense? Same thing for a buyer, right? Just made an offer on a house. You're at the coffee shop writing it up or whatever you guys do, electronically writing it up. As soon as you know it's sent, call that client back and say, hey, got my fingers crossed for you. This house is awesome. You can feel good about it. Or after they're under contract, calling them and saying, are you super excited? Hey, I know, there's a lot of emotions probably going on right now. This is a great decision. You guys are going to love this house. And they go, okay, the person I trust, my third party confirmation that this is a good idea. Because some people immediately will go under contract to buy a house and they're like, when's the inspection? Maybe we can get out at the inspection, right? Because buyer's remorse, I don't know what causes it, but it's a real thing. And when you make that call, it eases their mind, right? So if that's something that's super, super easy to implement, and again, just makes that eases that client and will help that closing percentage go up. That's the last thing that we've got under the during, and we are running short on time, so I think we should jump into the after closing, Chris. Which the first thing is a closing gift. Everybody should be given a closing gift because we all make a lot of money when we close a deal, and having the same closing gift for everybody is something that we believe, that we teach. If somebody buys a $200,000 house and you get them a really cheap closing gift, and then their friend buys a bigger house and you get them a really nice closing gift, the next time they're together, they're going to be like, I can't believe they gave you something nicer than me because you bought a bigger house, right? I know people who have made that mistake, and I don't know if we've ever made that mistake because I've heard this story from other people so many times of like giving one person a really expensive bottle of wine at closing, then they refer a client who buys a really little house and they give them like a cheap bottle of wine or something. Right. And having those two clients talk about it and feel cheated somehow. So get something that's nice, that has their name on it, and give them a closing gift that they can use and remember you by. But it needs to be the same for everybody. Having it at closing is awesome. Delivering it to their house 2 days after closing is awesome. Mailing it to them 10 days after closing is awesome. It doesn't really, in my opinion, it doesn't necessarily matter. I know some people may differ on that belief. They think that it's got to be at closing. But the truth is, that is really good. But that's a busy day. It's overwhelming. We've started mailing it to their house about a week after closing, and we get a ton of people that call or email us and say, hey, I got that serving platter, cutting board, serving tray, and that's awesome. I had somebody just say, my husband loves things with our name on it, and that's a really cool gift, right? And it would have been lost in the shuffle of we just bought a $300,000 house and we've got to go move now, and our stuff's in a moving truck, and they wouldn't have taken the time to really look at it had it been at closing. I do think it's a good idea, but if that you can schedule that, but getting it to them after closing is a good thing too. Anybody have a closing gift that's like, man, we do this, it blows people away?
You guys next to each other. It's pretty close though.
Hey, Robin.
I like to use, I have a friend who sells 31 bags. So it's like it's a home-based business, and I like to support my friends who have home-based businesses. So they have some carving boards and some different home platters. They've got pillows, they've got blankets that you can personalize. And so I usually try to buy from my friends, and then I make the gift personal by having my client's last name engraved onto it, or monogrammed onto it.
Absolutely. That's very similar to what we do. We use, is it Sister Whimsy?
Yeah.
Here?
Yeah.
And they do a great job. And, we'll buy several platters at once. I mean, like a bunch of them, and they're not that expensive if you buy them online, and then they'll put their name on them. So it'll say the Johnsons, and that's very, very nice. And it's a wow moment. So I love that. Anything that's personalized, it's nice to get something, but when it's personalized, it does make it feel more, more unique and more special. Yeah. And don't personalize it, in my opinion. We don't put our logo all over it, right? Like we might have a sticker on the back, that's on there that they can see it's from us, but it's not about giving somebody with our logo on it, because then people are like, I don't want your logo in my house. I want my name in my house, right? You helped me buy the house, and thank you, but they don't want the Haynes team on their blanket that they're watching football under, right? They want their name on it. So very important there. So guys,
you can do little things too throughout the process. We did a pizza cutter one time with our logo on it, and I had somebody one time say, yeah, we use that every Sunday night. We get pizza, we make a frozen pizza at home, and I use your thing every single week. And I think about you every time I pull it out because it's got your logo on it. And it costs, I think, $8 or $9. So that's not a closing gift, right? That was probably, I don't know. That could be your pre-approved gift, or something you send somebody after they go under contract as a buyer or a seller. But having little things that are branded, I think, are really good. Something that's really nice, that's branded, and it's got your logo in the middle of it, as opposed to their initial, is not nearly as good.
To that regard, the closing gift I got, my wife and I got from our realtor, was a Cutco knife, and it was engraved with their name on it. And that is by far our favorite knife in the kitchen. Like we use it like 5 times a day.
Wow.
And I mean, and we have
an old bread knife, like a bread knife.
No, it's a nice, like
a paring knife.
Paring knife. Yeah, it's a big knife. And our set's kind of getting old. We knew we need to replace it at one point, and we're like, we'll probably buy the rest of this set to match this one knife, because it's like
they'll come out and sharpen that thing about once a year.
Yeah.
For free.
Or you can send it in. Yeah. And then another realtor told me what she does was stock the fridge with like drinks and stuff like that for the client.
For the move.
That Cutco knife was probably anywhere from $75 to about $125.
Yep.
But it has his or her, whoever you use, logo on it. So you think about them. Now you're in mortgage, you probably would think about that person frequently anyway.
Yeah, they're a close friend of mine anyway. Yeah.
Even if you weren't, every time you went to grab it, you would see it and think, man, this is a nice gift. Man, this is a nice gift. Right? Mm-hmm. And you would never forget. And then if they have people over and you're cutting something, they may see it, or they may ask you about that knife, and you'd say, yeah, my realtor, Brian over here, gave it to me. And they're like, oh man, that's a nice gift. My realtor only got me whatever, right? Fill in the blank. So, that's one of those you can set it up with a company where they just, every time they send it out, or you could go buy 20 of them and your next 20 closings are covered. right?
It is better with their name on it. I've been doing these things with their name on it. It says, like, this year is established 2020. So the year I sold
Nice.
it to them.
Yeah.
And then, 5 years down the road, when you go back out to list it, because I plant that seed with every buyer. I said, you're going to sell it in 5 years anyway. And you'd be surprised how many people actually do call you back 5 years from now.
Yeah.
Or 2 years or whatever, and you go in and there's their sign and you know when you sold it to them.
Yeah. I love that. So guys, the next one is surveying your clients. Simple thing that we do and everybody should do is survey your clients, argue that electronically after closing, and just ask how we did. Rate us on a scale of 1 to 5, a couple of different categories. You guys should do that too. It can be a paper survey with 5 questions at closing. Just get that feedback, and when people are super happy, we want to hear it. If the survey doesn't come back like we thought it should, you shouldn't be surprised on the survey, right? If the survey is not great, you probably knew there were some things that went on, but you get that feedback and it lets them know you care. Like, I do care of how you feel, and if somebody is not happy, take care of it. Call them back if it's not face to face when they fill out the survey. Call them back, address it, and do that every time.
Housewarming party is next, which we can skip over. Is anybody? Now is not really a great time to host a lot of housewarming parties. If you want information on how to do that, let us know. 30 day after closing call, super easy, and necessary, in my opinion, because if you help somebody close on a house, they sell a house and buy a house, right? You've just sold them $800,000 in real estate, and you don't call them for 5 years. What do they think? They think, man, that guy or gal was only in it for the paycheck, right? Like, calling them the day after closing and checking in on them, and then call them 30 days later to say, hey, it's been a month. How is the new house treating you? Are you guys still getting settled? Are the pictures still in boxes? Or are you like fully settled? Is there anything that you need? Did you get the closing paperwork? Is there anything that you need from me or from the title company or anybody, right? Hey, be on the lookout for that first payment coming due. That's one of the things we say. Again, thank you so much for letting me help you buy this property, be your realtor. I appreciate it. I appreciate you. Keep me in mind, right? If you know of anybody else that may be thinking about buying, because I would love to. Here's a great script that somebody taught me a long time ago. Now that we're not helping, we're not working together with you anymore, there's a void in my schedule, and I would love to work with somebody else just like you, because you are one of my all-time favorite clients. Is there anybody else that you know of that you think I would be a good fit for that I could help as a realtor? Right? I loved working with you, but now there's a void in my schedule because we're done. Do you know of anybody that I would be a good fit with that's like you that I could work with? Right? But that 30 day after call just says, yes, I've already gotten paid, but I didn't just do this to get paid. I did this to make sure, because I loved working with you, and I want to make sure that you are loving the house. And if there's something you need, you let me know. And it might be a landscaper or the title company to send the paperwork, or you don't know where the first payment is supposed to be made, and you can connect them with the lender again, right? That's just too easy to not do. It's a 5-minute phone call, and all you've got to do is keep track of who closed last month and then call them this month. Monthly mailers. I feel like, did we kind of touch on that earlier?
A little bit, but yeah, I mean, we either send out letter of the heart or a evidence of success. And snail mail, like, people are like, oh, it doesn't work. It does work, but you got to do it consistently. That's the key. And people like, man, I used Brian, he was awesome, but I haven't heard from Brian in a year, 2 years, 5 years. I haven't seen anything from Brian. Who was that guy that I really liked as a realtor? And I can't remember. Right. So, make sure that you're doing that snail mail, because they see it, they pick it up, they may just throw it in the trash, but they see your name, and it's a constant reminder, and it's also good information. I'm sorry,
is that
Kristen?
something, should we do that quarterly or
we do monthly?
Monthly?
Yeah, we do monthly mailers to our database, and it's that constant top of mind. It's not that expensive to mail. I mean, it's 50 cents if you do a stamp. If you do a postcard, they'll design it, they print it, ship it, and everything for less than 50 cents per postcard. So,
like, I do a monthly email newsletter. Yep. So
email newsletters generally get opened about 7 to 8%. So if you send out 100, 7 or 8 of them get opened. That's the national average. Yours may be higher. But 100% of the people, they have to at least look at it, see your name, even if they don't read it. So I think the monthly newsletter email is perfect, but I think you want to do monthly mailers on top of that, because it's just that top of mind thing. And you won't see a big result after a month or two. It's just something you do constantly, and then it builds over time. Annual review
Chris,
calls.
do you guys have a like a schedule that you guys use? Because one of the things that you guys are amazing at is the communication, but also not always reaching out in the same way. Like you don't call every single time. Sometimes you get something in the mail from you. Sometimes you guys will personalize things. For instance, my daughter last year, she broke her arm, and we got a like a teddy bear, something in the mail, personalized for her. And when you do things like that, it certainly especially when it's somebody's kids, I mean, that's close to their heart. But I mean, anything like as far as like a schedule, I know the personal things sometimes come out just as events happen, but any kind of like schedule that you guys follow as far as like, how often to call, how often to mail, to keep it from being monotonous or the same thing.
So we think as far as your database, you should be calling your database 3 to 4 times a year to be optimum. So, you can kind of figure out how many that is. Is that 5 a day every day? Is that, to pick one day a week and call 25? What does that look like for you to call your database 3 to 4 times per year? We mail every month. In March, I know we mail out a, it's a, what is the holiday in March? It's
St.
St. Patrick's Day. Yeah, I'm sorry. So it's the luck of the Irish, right? So we always send out a lottery ticket to our database. So it's hey, good luck. Hope you hit the jackpot. And it's a little, something to do with a leprechaun or St. Patrick's Day. We change it every year. Usually in the fall or late summer, we'll send out something else of some kind of value. We mail every month, but like we just sent out, my team just sent out a conversion table. Like, how many gallon or how many quarts in a gallon and how many ounces in a cup or whatever it is, right? It's just like something they can put as a magnet on their fridge, and it's something kind of cool that they could use. Bank say, hey man, you send me a Starbucks card and a calendar every year. I never call you back, but now I need to do something, right? Yeah. So it's just that top of mind, just that constant thing. And then Facebook, guys, is a great way. I'm sure the way Clint knew that happened to your daughter was Facebook. So if you see something on Facebook to a close friend or past client, reach out to them. Maybe send them something, maybe do something. But that's how you kind of keep up in people's lives, because it's not like you're going to know that your friend down the road, their daughter broke their arm, other than if something's on Facebook. So that's a good way to keep up for, and that's obviously not a mass mail. That's a individual. I'm going to mail you something because I'm thinking about you. So does that help?
I had I know Mitch sent things to me, and I had right after COVID started, Mitch sent out the little flyers and stuff. I mean, the little postcards, and it had Bible verse on there. And it was about everybody kind of being where you can, and I've still got it on my fridge. So Mitch, nice. I have your picture on my fridge. And then, and last month, actually, sometimes he puts lotto tickets in the little notes that he sends, and I actually had a winning lotto ticket. It was $3.
Oh, you did? Yay! There we go. $3.
Keep them coming, baby. But, so I appreciate things like that, because it's like every time you go to your fridge, you get some inspirational scripture. So, those things like they really mean something,
Absolutely.
Because it says like we're all in this together or whatever. And we are.
That's absolutely right.
That somebody out there is thinking about you. I mean, it's just nice to get those things.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you send me a big enough lottery ticket, I quit doing this.
That's right. Guy hit the jackpot, baby. The next one, guys, is the annual client parties. And we usually have several of those. So we're having our next one today. I don't know what the turnout's going to be, but we're having an ice cream truck come here. It's free ice cream. You can come bring your kids until they run out of ice cream, which I doubt they will. we're going to be here from 3:30 to 6:30. And we do usually a movie day, a Sounds baseball game, ice cream party. We will have another one that you guys can join us, okay? This is going to be a trunk or treat. Trick or treat, hopefully. I'm assuming that we'll be able to do this with COVID and everything, but we do this in our parking lot. You guys can come set up your own car with your own sign and promote it to your own clients and invite them out to the Mount Juliet Chamber of Commerce. That way you're not advertising a lender. We're not asking you guys to advertise us. We put it on, but the address is the same as the Chamber of Commerce, and it's right in front of them. So, hey, we're going to do and you can just invite it like you're doing it. Hey, we're going to do a client appreciation event, trunk or treat, come out and see us. There's going to be lots of trunks and lots of treats. Put on your costumes, and it'll be like a Monday night. We'll get the information out plenty of time. But doing those little things, inviting clients to that is a big deal. Even if they can't come, they're like, oh, that's really cool. You guys were doing an event. And it's a way to kind of stay in front of them as that happens. So, plan on doing that. If you guys aren't planning on doing that or haven't done it in the past, please plan on doing it with us. Last year, we probably had, I don't even know, 30, 40 cars out here.
More than that.
40,
we had
50
a bunch
maybe.
of people. The year before that, we probably had about 25 or 30. Last year, we had a lot.
Yeah. And last year, I think was only the second or third year we opened it up to other people doing it. So, we expect it to grow. And doing those client appreciation events are a good thing. And tonight, if you want to come by and get ice cream, please come by. Bring kids, come by and see us. Our biggest fear is always that nobody's going to show up, right? It's COVID. Oh, we're going to be out here with an ice cream truck and nobody's going to show up. But always people do. We'd love to have you guys come too. We just talked about the Christmas cards.
And I will say one of the things we always talk about is the more you can be in touch with your clients, the more business you'll do. But one of the things is I don't know who to call or what to say, right? Like if I call my past clients and just check it, I mean, once you do it a lot, we never have a problem with it. But when we first started 12 or 14 years ago or whatever, it's like, well, what am I going to call them and say? If you have that concern, like an event is the easiest, right? Hadn't called you in a while, wanted to check in on you and let you know that we're doing a trunk or treat. Right? Or whatever your event is going to be. It is the easiest phone calls you can make. And a lot of times it just turns into business, right? I can't make it to the trunk or treat, but thank you so much for inviting me. By the way, how's real estate going? Right? How's your job doing? How are things at wherever? And they'll usually turn around and say whatever. And yeah, but how's real estate? Man, the market is crazy, blah, blah, blah. And then they'll say, yeah, we love our house. We're going to be here forever. Or, yeah, we were just talking. I was just talking to Lacey. It's we're probably going to be moving in the next year or two. Ding, ding, ding. There's an opportunity that I need to be setting an appointment to go see that person's house so we can make sure we list it, right? So the more conversations you have, the more real estate conversations you'll end up having.
Yeah. And also, if you're trying to get a bulk message out quickly, you can drop. There's ways to drop voicemails. To just basically say, hey, I didn't want to bug you, so I'm just dropping you this voicemail, but we're having this event or we're doing this or something like that, if you don't think you could get through enough calls quick enough. So there are ways to kind of streamline that process. Obviously, the personal calls directly too is always best, but I think sometimes it's good to get a mass message out quickly so they hear your voice. And they also, most people have their voicemails transcribed, so they see it, they read it, and they come back to it too as well. So
yeah. And hey guys,
pardon?
How do you do like a mass voicemail like that?
I'm sure there's many out there, but the one I use is called slybroadcast.com. And it's like I spent $20 and I sent out this to my past clients the first time, which was like a year and a half ago, for refinancing. And I basically said, it's Mitch. I had helped you with your mortgage in the past. Didn't want to bug you at work, so I'm just dropping you this quick voicemail because I don't want them to think like, oh, sorry, you missed me. Say, and just let you know, rates are low, blah, 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 And I've probably closed 20 deals off of that one voicemail. That cost me $20 to send those voicemails out. Yeah. All you have to have is their phone numbers in a database. So I basically just copied all their phone numbers like in Excel, and then just pasted it into the call list and record the message, hit send, it sends it out.
And the same message goes to every person. So you're not saying, hey, Chrissy, it's Mitch over here. It's just saying, hey, it's Mitch. Sorry I missed you, or I want to drop this message because I didn't want to bug you at work. So it sounds kind of personal, even though it's going out to maybe 400 or 500 people. They all kind of feel like it was directly to them.
Because truly I want to get the message out to them. I would call them personally. There's just not enough time in the day with all the other stuff that we've got going on. So this is one way that I've found to kind of like streamline that process. I'd much rather pick up the phone and call them directly. I just don't have the time to do it.
And hey guys, real quick, here's a shameless kind of plug for us too. It's an easy time for you to call your client as a realtor and say, hey, if you haven't refinanced in 2020 and you plan to be in the house for more than 2 years, you should really look at these rates. The rates are really crazy. So, hey Brian, do you plan to be in your house for more than 2 years? Oh, you do? Let me connect you with Clint. He's my lender. Let him take a look at that refi for you. Oh, you don't plan to be in the house for more than 2 years. Oh, now it's a lead for you, the realtor, right? So it's a way that you can give service and give value and say, hey, have you looked into these rates? Have you refinanced this year? If you haven't and you plan to be in the house long term, please let's talk to a lender and get you taken care of. Some of those people are going to say, man, it doesn't really make sense for me because we're planning to move in the spring. Oh, I didn't realize you were planning to move in the spring. Let's talk about that. What are you doing? Are you moving out of state or you moving up? And now you're producing your own leads. But as a realtor, when you go in and talk about a refi, it's very non-threatening to the client. They're like, oh, wow, I can't believe that he's calling me to tell me rates are good that I should refinance. That's not going to benefit him. But you're offering a service that can. And of course, we would love to help anybody that raises their hand and says they do want to look at a refi. Please let us know. We'd love to talk to them.
And that would also be a good, voicemail drop too. If you have a database of, however many you have, and you just want to get that message out quickly because rates can change any day. So you want to get that message out. You could do a voicemail drop just saying, hey, just want to check in. Let's let you know that, rates are all-time low right now. Now's a great time to refinance if you're looking at being in the home for the next 2 or 3 years. But if you're thinking about selling, it may not be a good idea. And I'd love to talk to you about those options as well. So There's different ways to put it out there.
Yep. The last one, guys, is just birthday cards. We do birthday cards to our clients. You have to have a system on that, a birthday card and a call. And then last, we've got a script on here. We can read that script. Clint, if you want to kind of read through that and talk about, when is a client most likely to refer you? Most of the time, people wait till the end. Like, hey, the deal's closed. Awesome, man. We finally got this done. It's been stressful because of the appraisals and moving and all the stuff that goes along. And we're at the very end. It was like, hey, Brian, who else do you know? Do you know anybody else buying a house? That's kind of how we normally ask. And they're like, oh, man, I'm so busy. It's been so crazy. I don't know anybody. Oh, well, okay, cool, man. Maybe if you ever run across somebody. So we want to ask during the process.
Yeah, and there's something in your brain called a reticular activator, which means when you're in the process of something, your brain is activated to that, and you'll notice it more often. So I'd always heard this, and then I realized I bought a 4Runner back in maybe like 08. It was a green 4Runner, and after I purchased it, I started seeing the exact same car like every day, right? And then in 12, I bought a little Lexus, and I'd never noticed the white, like the color of a white used Lexus and then I started noticing that car over and over and over again, the exact same color as the car I bought. It's not that when I bought it, thousands of people across Nashville all bought it the same day as well, and they automatically just started showing up. They were always around me. My brain just wasn't activated because I didn't care about that little ES3 used Lexus ES350 or used Toyota 4Runner. My brain wasn't activated to it, so even though I saw them, I didn't really see them. Same thing about buying a home. When you're in the process of buying a home, your brain is activated to the process. So you hear words like appraisal and home inspection and realtor. So if you're sitting in a coffee shop and you hear the person say, yeah, my home inspection came back, you hear it because your brain's always activated to real estate, but your clients don't until they're in the process. And then when they're in the process, their brain is activated to it. And that's why they have opportunities to refer you, is because when they're at work and somebody says, yeah, I'm just not sure what my home is worth, my appraisal from 2 years, and they hear it and they're like, oh, I overheard that, because my brain is activated to those things. So Chris, you said read the script.
Yeah, I don't think you have to. I mean, you can kind of start. You already went through the reticular activator part. If you want to read the whole thing, you can.
Well, it just, I touched on this earlier. It's, have we answered all your questions about the process? Is there anything else that you need from us or anything that I can do for you? No. Are you sure? Right? Once they say, no, we're good. And then you say, hey, my business is at 100% referral based. I would love to help anyone else that may be thinking about buying or selling a home. And here's the key is you don't say, so keep me in mind, because that's not a question. That's a statement. You want to make it a question. Who else do you know that may be buying a home in the next 12 months that I can help? The next key is to shut up and make them respond. What we usually do is say, who else do you know that maybe want to buy a home in the next 12 months that I can help? Because I'd love to help anybody that you know. And that ends the question part of it because you followed it with a statement. And they can again say, okay, what you have to do is say, who else do you know that may be buying or selling in the next 12 months that I can help?
And it's really hard to use the word who, because we always want to say, do you know anybody? And the answer to that is yes or no. And who is makes them think about something. For somebody.
And again, like when I ask that, who do you know that may be buying in the next 12 months that I can help? They almost expect you to keep talking. So when you stop talking, it's almost jarring a little bit. They go, well, you know, I don't know of anybody right now. Hey, well, keep me in mind. If you come across anybody, we'd love to help them. There are a percentage of people that will go, well, honey, who? That, you know, your cousin was thinking about moving here, right? Well, yeah, he did say something about it. Oh, awesome. What's your cousin's name? His name is Steve. Oh, hey, do you think Steve would be offended if I reached out to him and introduced myself? Is Steve going to really be offended? No, of course not, right? If you say, do you mind if I call him? Well, let me talk to Steve first. But if you say, do you think Steve would be offended if I reached out and introduced myself? No, I don't. The truth is I don't think Steve would be offended. Now they may still say, well, let me reach out to him first. Okay, that's perfectly cool. I'll do this. I'm gonna write his name down. If I don't hear from him in a couple of days, I'll follow back up with you and let you know. Because I'm telling you what I'm gonna do. 2 days from now, when I haven't heard from Steve, I'm gonna say, hey, Mitch, I haven't heard from Steve. Have you had a chance to talk to him? And I'm gonna either say, hey, can you get me his number so I can call him, or do you mind putting us on an email together? Because again, most people that are normal will say, yeah, that's really a good idea. And then they'll put you together and now you've got a new opportunity to work with a new person. There are a couple of things in there that are super, super critical, right? Number one is don't talk through the close and make sure that you're actually asking and not saying, hey, I love referrals. Okay, right? Mm-hmm. Say, I love referrals. My business is 100% referral based. Who do you know that I may be able to help in the next 12 months? And then the silence is also a very critical part of that because silence is awkward. And if you speak first and start talking again, we kind of let them off the hook, honestly. And they don't have to then say, nobody wants to tell you no, right? Who do you know that may be buying? I don't know anybody. They would much rather give you a name and a phone number because people want to please other people. So don't let them off the hook by talking through that, if that makes sense.
Yep. And there's a whole script there, guys. You can kind of read through it and make it your own. I don't like to use other people's scripts. Just kind of make it your own. But there are certain things that will help you there. And then last little tip before we wrap this up is, you know, have all your clients save you in their cell phone as your name and realtor, right? So save me in your cell phone as Todd Taylor - realtor, right? Or real estate agent, whatever. That way, 2 years from now,
that number.
That's right. That's right. So that way, right, if they forget my name, they forget Chris, and they say me as mortgage man or loan guy, they can search realtor. I can't remember that guy's name that sold me this house 3 years ago, but man, I saved his number. Let me see if I can just type in realtor. And boom, they type in realtor and your name pops back up. So that way they don't lose your number down the road.
Another trick there, Chris, is to save that on your own contact card.
Share your contact card.
And then text your contact card to them, and then they can save that contact.
Yep, that's exactly right. So awesome, guys. So let's wrap this up. Everybody, I want you to look at this last two. I don't think we did it for the during and the after, but what's one thing, put a star beside it, put a circle beside it. What's one thing you can add to your business? You don't want to do everything, right? We may have mentioned 6 different things that you can add. Just add 1. If you want to add 2, that's great. If you try to add 6, you won't do it. So what's one thing in each of those sections that you can add? So go ahead and start or circle it and then make it happen. Go ahead and take action on it today. Like, man, I'm going to start doing a monthly mailer. Expresscopy.com, that's on there. Go do that research. Go start working on that. You want to do a slide broadcast. That's what Mitch talked about earlier. I haven't talked to my database lately because I've been so busy. I'm going to look up that slide broadcast. I'm going to drop a voicemail to my database that says that I'm thinking about you, and I want you to know I'm still your realtor if there's anything I can help you with. Or the thing about the refis. Rates are awesome. If you haven't refinanced this year, you should probably look into it. Rates have been in the 2s, assuming good credit and et cetera. If you do think you're moving in the next 2 years, we need to talk about what your house is worth and how to get that prepared. Please call me. I'm your realtor. That sound good, guys?
Mm-hmm.
Guys, was this helpful?
It was.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's our goal. And yes, Christy, I'm sorry.
I said I have got some great ideas.
Awesome.
Good deal.
Nice. Get the notes.
We do these every month. If you know of anyone else that is in your office or maybe you've worked with, like in the real estate world before, that would benefit from these, because we don't know everybody. We used to know a lot of realtors. There's 30,000 realtors or something in Nashville, so we don't know most of them anymore. But feel free to share these invites or invite people that you know that you feel like would benefit from something like this, because it's free. So if it's good info and can help somebody in the industry that you know and like, we would love to have them be a part of something like this.
Yep. Awesome, guys. And we're loan guys, so we're not professional speakers or anything like that. So we want to bring you business and want to bring value to your business through this. Next month is going to be our credit guy. We're going to have our professional credit cleanup guy speaking about credit. One of the most impactful hours. I take more notes on that call because we have our appraiser comes in every year. We have different guest speakers that come in. I always take notes because I always learn something. I learn more from the credit guy than I do from any of the other speakers we have because it changes.
Yep.
Right. The average impact of a credit inquiry, people freak out. Like, I don't have my credit pulled, but it's going to mess my credit up. The average impact is 1 point. When you have that conversation with your client, like, really, it's going to go from 780 to 779, doesn't matter. Right. So little tidbits like that can help you have conversations. So plan to be here next month. It'll be on a Wednesday at 10. I'm not sure which Wednesday. I think it's the Wednesday after fall breaks are over. But it'll be really good. Invite your other realtors. We'd love to have you guys. So awesome, guys. Y'all go have a wonderful day. If we can help you with anything at all, please let us know. Thank your loan officer that brought you here, that invited you, and we do appreciate your participation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Have a great day.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.